I ask you all to take a really deep breath right now, like the biggest you possibly can. And as you exhale, close your eyes and just relax. And while you're relaxing, I'm going to ask you to come up with the most amazing, spectacular, impossibly to do, crazy, ridiculous idea you can come up with. Just hold on to it, visualize it, just let it breathe. And to add to that, I was just talking to Richard Branson, who's actually backstage, and he's told me that he will fund all of your ideas today. And actually, it was pretty amazing. There's so many great people at this talk today. Stephen Hawking was getting an autograph from Julia Landauer backstage, and he told me that he was going to work on bending all the laws of time, space, and gravity for you. So now, take that idea and really push it. Nothing is holding you back. Just really let it go. So this is what I do in class with my students. And then, while they're doing this, I tell them to write down this idea on a piece of paper. And they get this little shit-eating grin on their face, like, wow, I'm going to get a really good grade in this class because I just came up with the coolest, craziest idea that isn't totally impossible. They kind of lose that grin when I ask them to hand their paper to the person standing next to them on their left. That person then has 7 minutes to try to recreate that idea with props for the rest of the class. The rest of the class then has to guess what that original idea was. And as you can imagine, it gets pretty fun. But beyond being fun, it unveils like the key element to what finding a creative voice is about. And it's really best explained in this example. One of the students was asked to recreate the moment of illumination when all things were created. And you could see on his face, I didn't even know what he was being asked to do, but I could just see he was a little concerned. He grabbed a spool of string, cut it into lengths, and handed each piece of string to every person in the room. He then tied all of those strings to his index finger, held it up in the air, and sat in the middle in lotus position. It's the best I could do. And what that tells us, and everybody guessed it immediately, what that tells us is that what we think is impossible, when interpreted by someone else, is a little more possible. And what that really tells me, and I try to embed in my students' ideas, is that your mind is what's really keeping you from pursuing your dreams and making things reality. That your mind tells you it's not possible before you even begin to try. So I'm not even going to show you that picture because your idea was probably better than that. But so what happens, where does that come from? Why do we think that we can't do what we think we can do? Doesn't make any sense, right? Well, our society has all sorts of rules and regulations. And while they're there for reasons, they also keep us from being creative and keep us to thinking about what's possible. There are so many options that are presented to us, it seems like it's freedom. It seems like that's all that there could possibly do. But true creativity is in the realm of the non-option, the thing that was never even considered to be a choice in the first place. Einstein talks about black holes, and people ask him, well, where do black holes go? And he goes, they go elsewhere. That's where our creative ideas are. They're elsewhere. They're not with us. We need to get them from elsewhere to here. And with society, it's from every 4x8 sheet of plywood to every box that has to fit tomatoes to every hotel room that looks exactly like every other hotel room, the ideas of what we can do get limited. It's not a terrible thing, but to get out of those, you really have to push. And you have to want what you want more than what's being told you want, if that makes any sense. So let's get a show of hands from the audience. How many of you in preschool got to be creative with painting, drawing, and clay? Now keep your hands up if you're still doing that same level of creativity every day now. All right, what happened? Did someone tell you that was not okay? Did they say, that's not going to get you where you're going to go? I was told it would not get me to become an orthopedic surgeon. Who told me that? My dad, who's an orthopedic surgeon. And you know what? He was right. And I'm so glad I am not an orthopedic surgeon today because I followed my creativity. But that's a really hard thing to do. And the world is filled with people that have given up on their dreams. And the thing with people that have given up on their dreams, they're the first person to doubt yours. I'll give you an example of sitting in traffic. If you're all sitting in traffic for hours, which happens, and I come flying down this aisle on a motorcycle, are you going to be okay that I just passed all you guys and will be home in half the time it took you to get from Palo Alto to Oakland? Probably not. But that's what you got to do. Who told you you had to sit in traffic? Well, probably a CHP. Well, there's ways to work around that. Let me explain. So, a lot of this comes from your own fear. We all have it. There's an overwhelming need to feel safe and to play it safe. That's what we're told. There's insurance companies out there. There's a great department I've discovered at Stanford called risk management. They have a lot of people over there that like to talk to me about just about everything I'm trying to do at Stanford. We get along just like this. So, fear and self-doubt are really the things that really hold back a creative voice. Now, there's ways to get around it. In the D.school, we talk all about creative confidence, and it's a way to sort of cut through all the bullshit that keeps you from just going for it. The way I look at it, it's about trying to turn a no into a yes. If someone tells you no and you accept that no as a no, that's pretty much it. You're done. You've got a no. Congratulations. If you take that and go no and say, I can think of 5 ways I might be able to turn that no into a yes. Sounds easy, or maybe not. But it's not this way, I'll just tell you. It's a way to do it artistically, creatively, strategically, a little sneaky sometimes. The way is to turn someone's no into them saying yes in a way they could never have imagined that they would say yes. So let me give you an example. Look at these guys right here. Don't they look like a fun bunch of guys? Can you imagine me trying to convince people like this to do things like this? And convince them that, hey, this is completely safe. Notice the wood ceiling right above that. There are sprinklers, but, it's a wood ceiling. Or that this is totally acceptable. Or that this is something that we should do all the time. In fact, this will be the type of thing that eventually in California will be how we set the standard to doing fire arts, that we will write the book for the fire department to do this kind of stuff. Do you think they believed me at the beginning of that? Do you know how many times I heard, no, you can't do that? You're f***ing crazy, whatever. Did not happen. So how did we do this? How do we get a nice workaround? I call it the art of the workaround. I got a no for a long time. Well, if you think about firefighters, what's their motivation? Most firefighters become firefighters because they want to be heroes. They want to be heroes putting out fire. So let's make them heroes putting out fire on stage. Wow, they really like that. That's a good first step. But it's not far enough. We need to make them more pyromaniacs than we are. That was not that hard to go to that next step. The real challenge is actually to get them to enroll into your dream and make it our dream so that their no becomes our yes. And one of my most rewarding moments I have with firefighters and fire inspectors and fire marshals and all the people that start like this, by the end of an event I've done with them, they're giving me a hard time like saying, that's all the fire you got? Come on. Next time I want to see some real fire. I'm like, you got it. So, what I would say is it's really not about finding your creative voice. You all have a creative voice. You were born with it. At some point, someone told you it was not okay to use it, or that it wasn't important to use. And what I'm here to say is, you got to use it. And you got to get past your fear and whatever self-confidence you have, and just break through it. And don't take no for an answer, and just do it. And if all of us were to walk out of this room today at lunch into the beautiful sunshine that we have here at Stanford, and we each took one step towards an idea or a dream that we've always thought about and wanted to do, but haven't had the balls to do it, and we took a step towards that, I can guarantee you that that idea and that thing that seemed impossible will be just a little less impossible and a little more possible. And tomorrow, when you wake up, you'll have a whole new set of ideas and dreams that are even more amazing than what you have today. So I'll leave you with this question. When you're done on this planet, and you have one question asked of you, do you want it to be, did you take no for an answer, or did you go for it? Thank you.